afternoon, all my crafty friends. This is NanaKaye from NanaKayeDesigns.com and the Altered Book on Etsy.com. We are getting ready to start working on the 'Tis the Season Christmas Journal. Okay, a few people have already seen the introduction, so we're going to get started on it. And I'm going to start from the very beginning because I have just realized that I have a lot of people who are very new to journaling. They're really just getting into it. So there's a lot of tricks to the trade, unfortunately, that a lot of us who have been in it for a few years assume everybody knows, and they don't. So I am really going to kind of delve deep into this one. I won't do everything on screen. I will get you started into the prep work, which is what we're going to do first, prepping the stuff for the journal so it's easier to get to. We're going to start with that on this one, and then if time allows today, we will do our first insert, and I will be using on the first insert something that was gifted to me by my daughter. And what it is a set of cards that have this beautiful window in it. There's no cellophane in the window, but it's a window card here, and then the envelopes that go with it. So that's what I'm going to use for my first insert, is a envelope and card that's already pre-cut. So we're going to try to design something from that. Again, this is one of those things that I'm just pulling out of my head to see what I can come up with. The name of this was Recollections, Cards and Envelopes, and there's 10 sets in this particular pack. These come from Michael's and Hobby Lobby, both in my area has them. And so if you want to follow along with that project, you will need to go either get one of those sets, or the other option would be to make your own. You would use a piece of cardstock. I'd say 65 pound, nothing higher than that. The 110 might be a little too thick. This one is 8 by 11 by 8 is what size this is cut to. Excuse me. I'm sorry, it's 10 by 7. I keep wanting to put it on this line. It's not this line here, it's the one lower. So it's 7 inches by 10 inches unfolded. And what this card has is just a window glued on the side to it. So you can just glue a small window here. Just make sure you glue it as close to the edge as you can so that you don't lose space, and you cut your window whatever size you want. But if you want to make your own, that's not hard to do. Plain cardstock, take a die or your scissors or whatever and cut out whatever shaped window you want, and then just get you a envelope to fit whatever you're making. You can go make your card shape, make the card of whatever size you've got envelopes that'll match. If that makes sense, I hope it did. If not, go get you a pack. We're going to work on this in a little bit. First steps first, though, in any journal. The first things you have to do are a few steps. One, you have to take, once you've printed your kit, once you've printed one side of your kit, then you have to decide what backings you're going to put on the other side. So that's the first step. Print all your papers, kit papers out, then print your backgrounds on top of it. I don't pick and choose. I do it a real crazy method. I print my sheets first, then I stick them upright in my printer, and then I just go into my Photoshop, download my backs, and pop. I let whatever's on in that printer to go through the second side printing. I just go with it. I don't sit here and say, well, this one will look good with this and this. I don't do that. It's just look, whatever prints on the back is what I do. Now, if something looks extremely odd or awful, I might change it, but so far I've not had any problem with it. If you don't have the coffee stain paper, if you don't have that, then just go into your paper kit, and there should be a copy into my paper kits. There is a set of papers that have the coffee stain papers. If you don't purchase mine, there are a lot of people that have coffee stain papers. print you out a few coffee stain sheets on just regular, I think it's 20 or 21 pound, just lightweight copy paper. Use that for your coffee dye paper. And if you want to get this crinkly look, then you can just stand way back, hold it up, and spray it, misspray it with a spray bottle and let it dry. That'll give you the crinkly sound and look of your coffee paper. If you wet it too much now and you've printed it, it's going to bleed. So be aware of that. So just be very cautious if you're going to wet it. This is very minimal dampness to it, but a little bit of dampness will give you this effect right here. Okay, that's the first two steps that you have to do. Then you've got to decide how you want to arrange them and how many signatures you want. That's your next step. All these are steps you take before you really get into the fun stuff. There's always prep work. Okay, now, stitching. Lots and lots of people are liking the stitching. Not because of the reason I do it. Mine is for protective purposes, but a lot of people are liking the stitching because of the aesthetic look. If you don't have a sewing machine, we still have a solution. We have on our website, right there, NanaKaye Designs, we have Stitchums. These are half-inch strips with background pages from our kits with different styles of stitches on them. I have several varieties right now. I think all I've been able to get online, because I do a lot of this myself. The only thing I've been able to get into my shop so far, I think, is the vine print. I think I have it in blue, in yellow, and brown, and maybe the red, and I may not even have the red up yet. If I don't, you can write me, though. Don't ever hesitate to write me and tell me, I want stitchings, but I want it in I want red thread. And if you want a different color background strip, all you have to do is tell me. Price won't be any different if you call me and say, I want a light blue background with navy blue thread. That's not a problem. Just write me. It's still going to be $6.95 for 12 strips. I can change my sewing machine in a matter of seconds, cut these strips off the guillotine, and have it done for you in just a very little while. So don't ever feel intimidated if you don't have a sewing machine, because there is a solution available to you on our website. So check that out. So that answers the no sewing machine problem. Okay, next, we take all of our element pages. Remember what I said about element pages? A lot of people call them add-on kits. I call them element pages. That's the pages like this that have the cards already. Well, all the cards, you need to print those off, and you need to get them out like this, and we need to start preparing these. First step first. I actually print these on the 28-pound butcher paper or premium papers. Okay? 28-pound premium papers is what you're seeing today. I'm not using the 32-pound extra glossy butcher paper because I can't seem to be getting it right now. But anyway, I'm using 28-pound high-quality premium papers, and I'm still getting a very vivid print. So keep that in mind. And I'm taking these now. So these are extra copies I printed, mind you now. That's another thing. I print extras. I always print 2 sets initially. When I'm sitting down doing my printing, I go ahead and print 2 sets of everything. I print 2 sets of these, and probably a couple of sets of the little minis like this, and I'll print 2 sets of these cutouts. So things like that I will print 2 sets of. These here also can be prepped as cutouts, and I'll show you how we do that. And I should have one more page that I can do that too. I don't want to keep plundering while I'm talking, because the prep work is a little bit time consuming, and I'm not going to sit here and try to cut it all out. Okay, we're going to forget looking for it right this minute. Anyway, we're going to start doing some prep, and I'm going to get you started, and then I'm going to just pause the video, finish what I started, then I'll come back. So first things first, I started cutting apart the card sheet. So this is what I've gotten so far, cutting the card sheets apart. I have already cut the element sheet or the clip art sheet apart with the really teeny tiny minis on it. I've already cut that apart and made me some clip art out of that. So these are little pieces of clip art I got ready. And I'm not going to do anything else to these. You can put these on the back of cardstock if you wish to make them a little firmer. And I might do a few, but we'll do that as we do projects. I'm going to cut this overhead light off and see if that takes some of this brightness out. Give me just a minute. Yeah, I don't like that bright light we were getting, so I'm sorry, but I have cut it out. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to go and finish cutting the sheet, and then I'm going to take this particular sheet, and I'm going to cut these 4 center ones out, maybe this one, because it looks like it might be whole. The ones that look pretty whole, but I'm going to cut these out. So I'll be right back so I can finish cutting up this piece, and then we'll go from there on the prep. Be right back. Okay, so here is what I've ended up with now. I've ended up with the cards cut out. I did cut out just one of these for the time being, but that's going to be a nice piece of clip art. So you see the difference in the size. This makes a big difference. Okay, we're going to set those aside a minute. One of the cards were like this on the sheet. I just folded it over, so we're going to line the back of that and make this just a little open insert that we can put into one of our little tiny pockets, that we will end up with some tiny pockets. Next, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the tags that I've got printed. I'm not going to cut the mini pages out right now. We're going to set the mini pages over here so that they can be used to work on inserts. And I will cut out the pockets. And let's see, that's tags, pockets. I'm not going to do another sheet of those. But this is just everything now. 4 sheets of tags. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut these out and get them prepped and ready to do backing on. And in the meantime, also, I'm going to be printing. On 110-pound cardstock. Several of the background. Probably, again, all 12. We'll start with the 12 backgrounds again, but this time I'm going to print them on the 110-pound cardstock, and that's what we're going to use to back the tags and all that we're getting ready to cut out. So that's what I'm going to work on now. So if you're following along, you need to be doing your prep work. Go ahead and cut out everything away from the white backgrounds. Get everything cut out and ready to go. And then we're going to go through gluing them onto those backings and getting our tags kind of prepped and ready to go. Okay, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to pop back on just a minute while I'm cutting these out to tell you something. If you're new, okay, now I know some of you guys are old school and you've been through a lot of my videos already, and that's perfectly fine. But those of you who are brand new, this is specifically for you. This is not quite fussy cutting, but it's cutting out, and it is an intricate part of your skills that you'll learn in doing journals. And in fussy cutting, there is something that's really important. And that's when you're cutting around corners like this. You see that little rounded corner here and that rounded corner there. There's an important step you need to take. And that's when you're cutting. Get your scissors in whatever position that you're comfortable with, and then turn your paper for the cut. Okay? You see how I'm just turning my paper? So this hand over here, the right hand, is staying pretty stable, and the left hand is doing the work. And unfortunately, I have developed carpal tunnel, and I think it's because over the last 7 years I have done so much fussy cutting. But anyway, this is what you do. Hold your paper, your scissors kind of stable, and turn your paper along the way you're designing. I can almost, and this is no joke, I have done this so much that I can almost cut a perfect, almost perfect, now I didn't say perfect, almost perfect circle by using this technique. So if you're going to be cutting out intricate designs, keep this in mind when you're doing your cutting, is that along that edge, I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, I'm cutting straight, so that's no big deal. You're just doing your normal, moving the scissors up and down. But you're going to come to that curve, and you're going to want to start turning that paper according to the way that curve is running. That works around leaves, flowers. If you're cutting animals out, this technique is is the way to go with your fussy cutting. This gives you nice, smooth, non-choppy edges. Okay, so that's what I got. See that beautiful smooth cut around that? Nice and pretty. So that's just a hint for all you guys out there, just to tell you, you're doing a little bit of fussy cutting, that's what you have to do. So now I'm going to finish these tags and I'll be right back. Okay, since we're prepping, I'm going to show you another little technique too. Since we're having to cut around some nice curves here, it is a whole lot less time-consuming cutting if you can at least cut your pages down to this much. Even cut a little more trim off if you want. The idea is not to waste too much paper, so even cut a little bit more of the trim off like that. Just get a little bit of white around the edges, and then take your backing papers that you're going to use. So we'll start with these 3 tags here. Let's set these over, and I'll just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. I think I want something light because I want this tag to be big enough somebody can write on the back of it. On the little rabbit guy, we're going to use this piece here. And what I'll do is flip this over, white side up, but we're using the green paper down on the other side. Let's make sure our paper is loose like it should be. And our glue. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and glue this tag. Now I can see this tag. If I hold this tag up to the light, I can see where the tag is, even though there's white spots. But the idea is to make sure that you glue it really, really good, because you don't want it to come apart after you start decorating. We're just going to glue, 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 glue. Now hold that sheet. You excuse my printer off to the side. It's doing some printing for me. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to just stick it on the piece of paper for now that we're using for the background. If you don't want to put them all in the same color, you can even take a different one for the next tag or the next tag. That is just strictly up to you. You're into the process of starting to design now. And I've lost my little scraper. Oh, there was my old one, which is how you use it. I was trying to clean up a while ago, and as usual, I forget to put things in the right spot, and then I can't find them. But that's okay, we'll find it in a little bit. Alright, so there we go. Now you're in a prep, you're just saving some time, I guess I would say. Cutting time, or the stress of the cutting. You're only going to have to cut around these curves one time. And this way, both the bottom and the top will match perfectly. So that way, if you have a little bit of a sleight of hand and you don't cut it exactly right, both sides get cut the same. Now that's just a little tip. You can do it either way, because I have already cut out some completely, and I'll have to go around them again, but we'll go over that too. But we've almost got this tag ready. Now I used 110 and the 28 pounds, so I've got a relatively strong tag. It's a little flimsier than I like. I like to do 3 layers, but because I'm teaching you guys, you don't have to do 3 layers. That's up to you. When this glue hardens in the back of it, and it will, it's going to stiffen it up some too, because right now it's still really wet. But as this glue hardens, it's going to stiffen this card up quite a bit. So we're going to set this tag aside. I'm going to finish the rest of them, and if I come up with any other things that's a little different than you actually saw me do, then I will pop back on real quick and show you. But I need to finish these, get these cut out and glued to the backing. Be right back. Okay, I've got the 3 big tags back, and as you see, I did use 3 different papers on the back, different designs. Still plenty of German space. I'm going to let these dry a few minutes, and we'll work on them. These, I haven't backed, so now I've got to actually go in and go into my files and print some backgrounds. The video lags a little bit because I am jumping onto my system and going into my files, and I can't see how bad it jumps, so if it's jumping a little, I apologize. I will try to repair it if I can. what I'm going to do now is try to print some backgrounds that would be pretty on tags. And I'm going to show you another little trick of the trade once I get this one printed. Okay, I'm going to print one that's got a lot of pattern to it. You can't see it because I can't jump from video and overhead to my screenshot. But I'm actually printing a thing off my printer. And then I'm going to go find one more thing and show you a little trick. If you'll give me just a minute. You're looking at nothingness. I'll move my hand in every once in a while so you see I really am here in case my sound's going somewhere. I'm looking my papers. Okay, I'm worried about the time limit here, so I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, I've got a cardstock printing with a background, but I also have lined paper that I can use. So here's another little, that's a little trick of the trade here. You see this little book. I bought these also from Ollie's. Okay, I actually make journals out of these, guys. I do altered books for these. But as you see, this has pretty red lined paper. Okay, so I'm going to show you another one of my little tricks. If you're wanting to make journaling sheets, and you are using, this one's not that bad. If you're using one that you feel like is too, it's not going to show up well in printing, here's another little trick you can do. You can take your lined paper, right like this, okay? And for me, I just kind of go in and I kind of, well, you know what, it's just going to be easier to measure. I need to decide, I want to cut me a piece that is, 1, 2, 2.5, okay? I'm going to cut a piece off of this. It's 2.5 wide. Ruler out, please. And we don't want this, well, we can use that side, because the butterfly's not going to get in the way of what I want to do. Okay? So you're going to come over and cut 2.5. That's my 2.5 inch mark right there and right there. Make sure I don't get my head too much in the camera. You don't want to see my fuzzy head. Cut that piece off right like that. Okay. Take the piece that you wanted to cover again. Lay it down in here like this. Okay, I want to cut off almost, I want this, so that's 1/4 inch. So anything beyond that, we're going to cut that off. So I'm going to cut it right at that line to make all the spaces equal. And you don't have to do that. That's just one of my OCD things. I'm very compulsive like that. I'm sorry. Alright, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to cut it to that line, right? I'm going to cut it to the line just above the butterfly, okay? So we're going to lay it back on here and get it on a straight line. And I'm going to cut it off right on that line. Just so I don't want no red showing, so we're going to try to make it the white part of that right there. Save this butterfly, because you can certainly use it in something else. Okay, there gives you a piece of lined paper. Okay, and you can actually attach that to the backs of your cards, like this. That gives you more journaling spot. There's no doubt now that that's journaling spot. Okay, so that can be glued to that back. So that's just another little trick of the trade about what you can do with your tags. You can do it with your card, with the cards, everything. Okay, so we've got that done. Alright, now I've got a piece of backing here that we're going to use. It didn't print on the right kind of paper, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. Okay, and the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to just, again, I'm going to actually show you gluing one, just in case. But I glue all the way. And this time, what I'll probably do is do 2 or 3 on the same set. Because they're not going to go in the same pockets, so it doesn't matter for me if the backing's exactly the same. A knife out of the way, I don't want to cut myself. Make sure you belch the air out or push the air out or whatever. That's why I use the paint scraper. I can get a nice, smooth, flat surface. Get all that air, that glue spread in between it. Just glue away, guys. Just go ahead and be prepping your tags and things to go inside your journals. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to do 2. And then later I will do the rest off screen. But we're going to move on beyond the prep work. Because people that's been with me a while, I've already gone through this. And if you want to see a lot more prepping and things that I have to do to prepare these journals before I start putting them together, Fuchsia Dreams, I've already gone through the Fuchsia Dreams playlist. Go through it. There is a lot of prep work in that one. I'm trying to think what else. And the Blue Tranquility had a lot of the prep work that has to be done ahead of time in that one. So if I'm going too fast on the prep work with this one, because I am not doing it online like I did those, they were actually prepped right on the video. Go on and watch some of those projects we did in those 2 journals, and you'll see more of the pre-prep and things that have to be done. It is a lot of pre-prep work. Sometimes you think, can I just start designing my book? But if you don't do this, you'll be trying to design, and then you'll be trying to prep and trying to design. And trust me, it's a whole lot easier to pre-plan it. Another thing that's a whole lot easier to do is to go ahead and get maybe a roll of lace that you might want to use, a couple of rolls of colored ribbons that you might want to use. Just like the sunny sunflower days, I have pre-prepped a few of the little silk flowers, and I have pre-prepped some buttons. So I've got a few things that are ready to go. But I don't want to pre-prep too much stuff, because I really want to be able to show people that are new to this, because I didn't know where to go when I first started. So a lot of my stuff has been trial and error, and a lot of my stuff has been self-taught, which I guess that's really what most of us out here doing this craft arts, we're self-taught. But anyway, that's prepping your tags. I'm getting them done. I'm going to finish those, and we are going to start on our first project. I am doing again, like I did on the sunny, the sunny sunflower days video that's going to pop in tonight. You'll see where I actually didn't pre-plan, and I'm not pre-planning this one. So this is going to be one of those that we're just going to jump in here and start doing and see how it turns out. If it doesn't turn out good, you'll never see this video. If it turns out acceptable, then you'll get to see this video. Okay, so let me get my stuff out. We're going to start. I'm just going to kind of push these few larger things out of the way. I have a couple of pockets here that I might want to just hold out a minute that I just cut. Different shaped pockets. So I'm going to put them aside. These tags I am going to set right up here in this corner, out of the way. I'm going to keep a few of this, I started to say graffiti, I mean graphics. Okay, we're going to start with our deer. And I don't know what page I want to put this on, but I am going to start with that card I showed you earlier from Recollections. And we are not going to put cellophane in it, I do not think. I think because it's already glued, we're not. I'm going to lift these two, set them aside. I have a tray right here to my right. You see it right here. This has got all my excess papers and all. So if you see me reaching over, that's where I'm pulling from. I'm pulling designs from that. Okay, and if the camera starts wiggling like that, you know I accidentally hit my desk a little too hard. And just forgive me, we are working on that solution, as I've said already in every video for the last few days. I'm going to just set my card aside a minute. excuse me, not my card, my envelope. But my envelope is going to be attached here on the front of this. And it's going to be attached to the back of this. And what we are going to do is we're going to make this into a flip. Let me make sure I've got this word flip. We're going to make this into a flip inside our book. I have to get sizes and make sure that nothing has to be trimmed off. If it does, we're going to have to go in and rework it. But the first thing I want to do is find a page that this sets pretty up against. Okay, for this one, this one looks really nice. Okay. I don't want to cover that. I really want it to be, can't do it on that. Okay, I can do it on that one. Okay. We can go all the way to the back here, and we can do it on this one. Because I plan to glue this whole back side down. This is not going to be on the fold line or anything like the other ones we've done. It's going to be just like this. We're going to come in here. We're going to prepare it. Then it's going to sit into here. And you're going to, when you're opening your book, this will actually slip up as well to be a little pamphlet within a pamphlet. So that's my idea here. And we just got to get it worked in where it works well. I wanted to make sure we didn't have to cut it down anymore. And I don't think we do. If we glue it just a little bit above that, we're going to have a little bit here. So we're good. We don't even have to trim this down. So perfect thing. And we're going to put it on the plaid. That's the page we're going to put it on. So I'm going to pull the plaid out, and we're going to work on that back side, right here on this side, the right side of the plaid. I'm going to put these back in my table over here. I have pulled out some decorative ribbon that I have had for a long time. I don't know which one we'll use. We'll decide as we go along, but I've got decorative this ribbon here, and off to my left behind me I have lots and lots of lace. So we will figure this out as we go. So let's start. Put the plaid paper in front of us. Remember, that's our colors we're working with. And put the envelope aside for a few minutes, and let's start working here. Let's decide what we're going to frame inside of here. Now for me, y'all gonna hate me, but I don't want to use any of the main pictures that we've already used. So what I want to do is I'm going to want to go into my file and find something that with the same colors, but not exactly something that we've already used. So that's my first step in prepping this trifold. And if I design something differently, now let me tell you how I work. When I sell my kits, we pre-planned none of these inserts, okay? Mind you, none of these inserts. For people that want to follow along, and I come out here and then I go put a whole different design on the inside of here, and you may not have anything. You may want the design that I've used. I will have a separate file that any extra clip art that I use here will be put into. And if you have purchased my kit through my website, right there, NanaKaye Designs, if you've purchased from there, the bonus you get is that I can follow you. I will know who you are, and I can send you an email with the additional file attached. And that I will do. I will do it. And I'm going to put a different clip art here, so we already know on this particular journal there's going to be an additional file. Now I will be designing something, so you see me sitting here measuring, and what I'm looking at now is to see how big of a card I'm going to need to make to put in here, or how big of a journal card. So that's what I'm actually going to slip in here, is I'm going to make a larger journal card, because I don't think I have anything this large. And I'm going to slide it into here. So it needs to be 4.5. Well, let's still go quite that big. Let's say 4 1/4 wide. I need a card that's 4 1/4 wide. And to slip it all the way down. Oh yeah, that's going to fit all the way. I need it to be at least 6.5. So 4 1/4 by 6.5 is what the design needs to be. I've actually pulled out I've actually done two things. I went in and I dismantled it, gently pulled away and opened up the card, because we're going to glue all this right back down. But to make it simpler to frame this frame here with a color. Now, if I didn't want to put a color there, it would be all right. But I'm going to put a color there. So what I want to do is put this on here like this, right at the spot, right where I want it, on this edge. Okay. Went right on that edge. I use my trusty little pencil, and I'm going to draw me a mark there. And then I'm going to draw me a mark here. Okay? That's my first step, guys. Gotta get my piece cut out that I'm gonna lay over. And then I will draw my window. And this is where, if I choose, I can make my window smaller. Because I'm getting ready to lay out my piece. If you want to make it your own, change the shape of your window or change the size of your window, whatever. This is where things can be a lot different. This is sturdier, so we're going to lose this flimsiness that we've got because of it got cut. You can actually go ahead and glue that on, and which might make it easier. Because I used the blade to cut anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and fold everything back in again. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to, no, I don't want to fold it. I don't want the glue to get on the back side. It really don't matter though, because it's all going to get covered. Get you out of the way. And God, this is how I work when I don't pre-plan. It maybe seems a little bit scattered, but I think we're going to find that our end results is the same. I want this glued down really well, right here, on this edge. Now, if you want to put cellophane down, that's up to you. Don't have to. But since I broke it apart, I may put cellophane down on mine. I haven't decided yet. I'll let you know when I make up my mind. Okay, we're going to put that down right there. Tap it on this edge to make sure that, oh God, I'm really messing the camera up. Oh, I cannot work with this camera hooked to the same desk I'm working on. It's just impossible. Okay. Okay, let's go in and make sure that we're in good shape here. Got a little bit of a white line showing there, which don't bother me. We've got red ink, and it's hanging over that side, which is not good. So this white looks fine to me, because I can ink it. But this, well, that does mean we could have moved it over a little more, doesn't it? But well, it's too late now. I've glued it, so we're just going to have to ink that. No, I'm just not going to be happy if I ink it. I'm going to have to try to pull it off, guys. Give me just a second. One of these little happy accidents. Okay, and it broke it. See, that's how flimsy that was. It already broke it. Not a problem, but not a problem. I'm going to glue it again, and I'm going to try to get it right in the right spot this time. I hate that I can't get right up under my camera. One way I get my head under it, the other way I can't get under it at all. It's ridiculous here. Okay, let's try that again, and let's work on this outside edge. One of these times when you just want to ball it up and throw it away. But lucky for me, I got more of these, and you know what? I'm not going to sit here and fight this one. You may not, so, you know, you may not can trash it like I just did. I'll use the back part of it. But we're going to do this again. This is what I did. I went in and I just gently pulled the glue off of that underside. And this was glued, believe it or not, this was glued harder than that one was. But I got that out. There's a flap down on the bottom. I've got to get my finger under and pull down. I'm going to do it one more time. I hope I can do it before my glue dries. Okay, let's try that one more time, guys. Please forgive me. But hey, we're in a learning process here. You're getting to see the not so pretty parts of designing. Okay. Now let's try to get it right up against that fold line again. Right up against that bottom again. And if we've got a little bit of white showing this time, we are not going to make the same mistake of breaking that. Tap it down. And fold it to see where we are. And we are good. Okay, we're good this time. Oh, God, I hate the shaking. But I'm not going to give up. I don't give up that easily. All right, now we're going to press it down really tight. And as you see, that's already made it firmer. Now, I don't know how flimsy it's going to get when we cut it back out again. But it's got it. Okay, now we're going to cut out around this area again. No reason, I'm just showing you the area we're cutting, okay? So what I'm going to do is take my knife, and I'm going to splice. Yeah, I'm not going to try to salvage this. I would normally try to salvage that card front, but I'm not going to. Okay, I slice it like that, and the reason I do it that way is so that I can get my scissors in here and start cutting. So we're going to cut around this, cut out, and as you see, it's not all that easy. Got to make a circle with that again. Okay. Got to try to turn around here. Like I say, you could have made this window smaller. Whatever you cut out here wouldn't matter because we could have covered any of this back part up. This will be covered up with the design on the back. I know you guys are totally lost at what I'm doing. I know you think I'm crazy with that. Okay, but we're gonna get the base of this done. Okay, so I covered that. That's covered. All right, so now that's done. I don't think I need to worry about anything else because the card's gonna slide in. We got a little bit of white down here showing, but I can really trim some of that off. And that's exactly what I'm going to do when I don't like something. It makes me glad I have that beautiful blade right there. And just a nice ruler. I don't like that little bit of white, so I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off of that bottom. When I glue it, it'll seal it right back up. I don't slide on me. No, no, no. I know you're a little tougher, but let's cut this little bit of white off. That's all we want, is to trim that little bit of white off. Now I'm taking the scissors and doing just a tiny bit more trimming. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because my blade dug down into my mat. Okay, and I got a little bit of a jagged edge there. So just take my sanding tool and just sand it down a little bit. That's how I smooth it out, okay? Still a little rough, but we'll work on it once we get our picture inside. I will work on getting that off, and I just got it off with the sanding tool. Okay, now let's glue it back down where it was originally glued, and we'll go from there. I'm thinking I don't need to put it. Yeah, let's go ahead and put some kind of backing right there before we do it. Now, the reason why, normally I wouldn't do it, but we're going to slide a card in. I'm going to put some backing here so that when the card's not in it, you're not just seeing white blank space, okay? So we're going to do a backing there, and if I have another of that plaid already printed, we're going to put it in, and I do. And that's just so I can keep things looking really uniform. But you can put whatever color in here you want. But I am going to put this in. I'm going to cut it right there on that green line, straight up. I'm going to cut my paper right on that line. That was my measurement. So that's the one thing I like about the gingham checks and the plaids. They go ahead and give you a line when they do a lot of measuring, okay? And then I'm going to lay it in here. And I'm going to cut it on that dark green line right there. Okay, and then I'm going to lay this one in. Okay, so now we just glue this one up and lay it right in there, and then we'll glue the two pieces back together. And we'll be back in business. So, you see, modifying something that's already done is a lot harder, and my husband will tell you that. It's a lot harder to modify something or remodel, because my husband remodels constantly, than it is to build it from scratch. But you know what? I hope you're up for the challenge, because you're going to be, if you're doing anything in an altering world, which is the name of my company is the Altered Book Nook, it tells you exactly what you're going to be doing 90% of the time, and that is making alterations to things. Okay, so now we've got that and that done, so that's what you're going to see when the card's not in it. And of course, it's going to be glued onto this paper, so it looks like you're just, so really, you're not realizing that there is a hidden spot underneath there. If the card was out, you're not realizing there's a hidden spot, but when you flip it up, there's a hidden spot right there, okay? Could be a journaling spot. We will decide as we go along whether we're going to make it just a journaling spot or place for the photo, whatever. Okay, so we got that trimmed out. That's done. Now, if I want to put cellophane on this, now's the time to do it. And I can't decide. Isn't that terrible? I cannot decide if I want cellophane. I really do not think I want cellophane on it. I think I just want the card to slide in. That way, if I want to really three-dimensionalize the card some, I can do that. So we're going to leave it as just a blank open spot. But keep in mind, you can put your cellophane on, and if you were to choose to do that, you would glue your cellophane as close to this outer edge as you can, because as you'll know in one of my other videos, when I did the puzzle-shaped window, you don't want to get glued too close to this edge, because when you're pressing or smoothing it, you don't want it to get on the cellophane, because it makes your cellophane cloudy. So if you're going to put cellophane on, cut it as far out this way as you can without it sticking out below. Now, I'm not going to do any more to this part right here, so we're going to go ahead and close this back up where we actually took it apart. Just go ahead and close it back up right here. Okay. Let's flip her over. Press it down. Okay, let's smooth it so we get the air bubbles out of the glue. And we should be pretty much back to our base form, and we are. Okay, so we got the pocket here, and then we've got the flip open on the card here. So there we are on that. Now, to decide on the design. I was measuring a while ago, and I got my measurement. So I'm going to put I'm going to do another card, and I will have this, if I may go ahead and add it to the kit for those that haven't purchased the kit yet. And if you have purchased my kit, I think I've already sold 2 or 3, so I have to go back and make sure you guys get a file. So if you're looking at this, be sure to make sure you see the file. I will email you. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of trimming down. Just because I'm so finicky. You may not be as finicky as me, but I'm trimming some excess off. So just that little teeny piece bothered me. I know, it's ridiculous, but anyway. Alright, so let's go ahead and go find our journal card that we're going to stick on the inside here. Okay, I've just gone on to Photoshop, and this is the one I found. I designed this real quickly. I like the size. I'm going to have to put a frame around it, though. But yeah, that's going to fit nicely inside there. See how pretty that's going to look? Okay. So what I'm going to do next, I don't think I've got enough left of this piece of paper. I hope I've got another piece of this. No, I don't want to use that. I want to use something different. One of the other pages. This is one of the other backgrounds. Something with I don't really think I want to do this, though. I really don't think I want to do this. But then again, why not? Because it matches very well. Okay, I don't want to get too much of that. Let me see. Oh, this one's cute. No, I don't do that. Okay, I'm going to go get another piece of solid. Give me just a second. I hate to leave it again, but I got to leave you 1 second. Okay, I got another piece of the same red that we used up here. And we're going to actually mount this with a little bit of a frame, because if it goes all the way in, it's going to go too deep. So we want to put a little bit of a frame around this. And I'm going to start with more than I need, most likely. So I'm going to do more than I need, and then we can always trim down. It's easier to take off. Well, not easier. It is. The only way you can do it is just take more off. But you certainly can't put it on when you cut it. So I'm gluing, guys. I know I'm gluing our frame in. I'm about ready to trash this whole video. I keep making so many errors, but I'm going to keep trying to plug along. This is probably one I should have done first and then done a second one. Okay, let's make it about that size out. And I am just eyeing it, so I sure hope that I'm getting it straight. Okay, we're doing it that way. Okay, and then we're going to look. This is about a little over a half. So I'm going to go a little over a half. Let's turn it this way. Oh me, a little over a half. So it's about there. One. Okay, I'm going to cut it right about there. Get everything out of the way. Don't want to cut everything else. Cut it right there. That's about right. You know what? I need to stand up to do this. That might be what I should have been doing all along. Okay, and I see now, I've noticed that I'm looking, so it's a good thing I stood up. Unfortunately, I am extremely meticulous about things being straight. Sometimes too much, so causes me a lot of headache because I'm so meticulous. Okay, that strip was saved. You see, I've cut that a little narrower than that, but that's okay. We're going to trim it all down. Okay. And then we're going to cut this one. I'll eyeball it about the same. I think I made it 2. Yep. Okay, it's a 1/2 inch. So we're going to do this one a 1/2 inch. Get it along the side here and here. I'm over at the 1/2 inch mark on that. And that. Put it down. Okay. And that looks pretty good. So now we're going to go back and finish trimming up. That's about even with that line. And I don't need much off. I'm going to trim off just a tiny bit off the side to try to make it even all the way around and see if it's too big or if it's just right. A little bit off there. Same thing here. Line it up right on that line and at the 1/2 inch mark. I'm going to trim it right at the 1/2 inch mark. And if it's a little quirky, it's just going to have to be. Okay, so there, we got that one done. Now, let's see if it's going to fit in here, if it's way too big. Like I say, we can start narrowing this down. It's not a problem. And it's way too big. How much do we need to cut off? Okay. We'll go all the way around and cut off another 1/4 inch all the way around. And so if I cut a 1/4 here and a 1/4 here, it's going to end up a 1/2 inch in the height. I go here and here and cut off another 1/4. Straighten it up. So that's the height we're cutting off. And then off each side, we're going to cut a 1/4. Not going to be a lot, is it? Let's go for it. Sure. Quarter there and a 1/4 there. So it really ends up taking about 1/8 of an inch. Oops, come on. 1/8. Oh, that's not pretty, is it? That was a slip of the knife. Okay. I have to go right to there and take it all off. And that was not a happy accident. I had everything so perfect. I guess I tore it. My blade is getting dull. That's my first indicator when things like that start happening, that my little blade here is getting dull and needs to be clipped off. But nothing bad just happened, so we were managed. Okay. Cut it right there. Let's see if that trimmed off enough to give us what we want. Okay, it doesn't look bad. Okay, let's see if we got the right height and the right width now. I don't believe that it's still too tight. That is not going to make me a happy camper. It's almost. It's almost. Okay, really, for one thing, I'm snagging. As you can see, there's a flap there. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in and glue that down and see if that's really just all the problem we're having. And it could be. Okay? Because I really thought it was close. Okay, but it's not. We still got just a tiny bit that we need to take off, but we can manage. Okay. And it was crooked anyway, so hey, this will straighten it up. Got a little bit off. That looks good. And we've got to get it about the same width over there. Put it right there and there. Put it under there so I can make sure we're on the line, all the way down. And we're going to trim it off right there on that line and that line. That line and that line. Okay. That should do it, guys. We should be done with the front, other than decorating the front part. Okay, I still see a little bit here. Yeah, you can see it on the screen. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to bring this down to 1/4 inch. Try to make it the same as that one. And that's going to be, we cut it right there. It's out of the way. Cut that right there and right there. Don't cut it crooked. Cut. I'm going to cut more and more off the top because there was a lot more on the bottom than I thought. Cut it right there. That line all the way down. Another slither. Now let's see what we got. See if we got us a slide-in card. Okay, don't. Just catching that corner too. There we go. Alright, we're in. It's got it in. It's perfect. Everything looks good. Now, I need to find my pad. I had a pad of ink that was red. And I don't see it right handy, so we'll work on that on the next video. But we've got the front of this one done. We still got to get the done. We're going to call this, I'm going to have to give it a name so I can do a part 1 and part 2, because we are 59 minutes into this video and I'm not going to make it any longer. They are hard to download, and I just do not feel like it keeps people's attention once it gets long. So we're going to call this the hidden pocket flip, okay? So this is a hidden pocket flip part 1 that you guys have just watched. So look for part 2, and we'll finish this up. That was a little bit complicated, and maybe now that we've got things going like we want, we'll be okay, because really all we've got to do, we're going to glue this. So this has nothing to do with anything. And we're going to actually glue the envelope to the back of it here. So there won't be anything done to that flap or that back part. That's just going to be glued down to the page. So we've got to work on this is our pocket, one of our pockets that will be. This will be something, and we may do like a pocket on the side, an angle something, pretty there. And then we've got to come to the inside. So that will be part 2. It is going to be the hidden pocket flip. Hidden pocket flip part 2. Watch for it. This is NanaKaye signing off. Have a great day, and I appreciate every one of my subscribers. And again, if you have comments, make sure you send them to me. I will try to answer them within 24 hours. NanaKaye saying bye-bye. See you later.